Hey Gems, so today we're going to be talking about plant exports. I want to share with you my experience, and I recently purchased something from Thailand that I'm going to be sharing with you guys, and I'll put timestamps down below so you can get it, so you can jump ahead to a section that you want to, and then I'm going to be leaving this for last. It's going to be kind of an unboxing, but I already opened it and I've already looked at it, but I'm just going to share with you guys how they come and what they look like when they come in. So let's just dive right into it. So I want to start with sellers and the locations they're going to be coming from. There are a bunch of different sellers, and it's very much a gamble. For me, I started with the Asian exports because that's what the main name that I was hearing around for exports, and the main thing that I was looking for was a Hoya goddess, and I'm probably saying it wrong, so anytime I mention a plant I will put the name to the side because y'all know I'm horrible at saying names. But yeah, I was mainly looking for a Hoya goddess, and I wanted a Hoya. I'm not even gonna try to say it. It starts with the H and it's really cute, so I'll just put it over here. But yeah, I was just looking for some more harder to find Hoyas. Hoyas are besides the Philadelphia Hoyas are like my favorite. So I started with the Asian exports, and they're from Thailand, I believe. If I'm incorrect, I'll put where they're from over here. And then I started to branch out onto other sellers through Etsy and eBay. With Etsy, I purchased from a couple of them, but one that I really liked in particular was called Thai Hoya. Their Hoya that they say became in really good condition, and it acclimated very well. And another one, there's a couple that I ordered from eBay too, and I'll put down below the links to the sellers that I purchased that I personally liked buying from. And then I'll also put the Asian export website down below because that's a common one. And we're gonna get into you know, how they come and like the size that the plants actually do come in a second. But I just wanted to share a little bit about where they usually come from. So and then another seller that I purchased from, I'll have to look up what their name is. They're actually from Indonesia. So it seems like Thailand and Indonesia are the main places to get those tropical plants imported from. And the process is not that hard. So it depends on where you are. So you always want to make sure that when you are looking to buy from a seller that they offer a export license, or it's called. So you want to make sure that when you're buying from a seller that you make sure that they have a phytosanitary certificate, which is basically a piece of paper that allows you to export or import plants from their country. So exports have to go through customs, make sure that there's not any like deadly bugs that can mess up the US ecosystem, and so they come with a certificate. Not all of them come with it. Sometimes you have to purchase it separately. So when you are purchasing plants, you want to make sure that you read the description, because some sellers offer that built into their pricing, and some you have to purchase that certificate separately. So that's what you really want to keep an eye on. One thing that I liked purchasing from eBay and Etsy is that they automatically came with that into their pricing. With the Asian export website, they do automatically put it into your cart, but it's just not, it's not built into their pricing. It's a separate price, even though I feel like it's kind of a pain to have to order that, but it just guarantees that your plant will most likely make it through customs because it's going to shipping and time frame. So majority of the time, so what I've seen as the time frame is they have to get the certificate through customs. That takes about a week or two, and then once it goes through customs, it takes about 2 more weeks for it to get to the US. And from what I've seen, a lot of the shipping imports through Florida. Yeah, a lot of the shipping imports through Florida, and then it ships from Florida to wherever you're at in the US. I'm in the middle of the US, Kansas City, Missouri. So it will take about a week for it to get from from Florida to Kansas City. So yeah, so that's basically the time frame. It takes about a month or two for you to receive that plant, so don't order it expecting it to be here within like a week or two like it would be from the US. It's gonna take at least a month. And sometimes there are certain sellers that get it faster. So for what I'm thinking about, for the ones that get here less than a month, I'm like, do they just ship it here and have it in the US already and leave it with like a seller, like somebody who's in the US, and then they ship it to you as they order it, and then you just pay them back for you know, the shipping costs or whatever? Because I've had a plant that came like really fast, like within a week of me ordering. I'm just like, bruh, they can't be coming from, I'm sure they originally came from Thailand, but I was like, they have to have somebody here that's like holding on to the plants so they can ship it for me to get it within a week, because that's hella fast. But that's just me thinking about that. For the ones that do come really fast, let me know what you guys think, because I feel like, yeah, those sellers have to have somebody here in the US that's holding on to those. If it got to me before 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying? That's really fast. So yeah, so when you order, just expect it to be a month. And one thing that I didn't really like about Asian exports is that they didn't notify me when my plant was going to ship. So they ship in the order in which, you know, you purchase. So I didn't know when my order had shipped. I had to go and log back in, because you create an account whenever you do order from Asian exports. You create an account, and I had to go back in there and check to see if mine had shipped. So it had been 2 weeks, and I was like, I haven't got a notification that it shipped or anything like that. So I went into my account, and then I saw that it actually had just shipped. But it didn't notify me. Even once I got my plant, it didn't notify me that it shipped or that it arrived. So that's something that you want to keep in mind. I've seen that other people who have bought from Asian exports, some of them have received notifications, but I didn't. So I think it's just, you may or may not receive a notification that you shipped. Just make sure that you create an account when you order, so that way you can check on your order and keep your receipt handy, so that, because that asks for your order number and all that. So yeah, but with the other sellers, because they're shipping through Etsy and eBay, they automatically come with like a shipping tracking number, and it'll let you know the carrier that they choose once they get to the US. Okay, so once you find the seller that you're going to purchase from, I just want to share with you some expectations versus realities. So ordering from Asian exports, they have pictures of really big plants, and a lot of the people do, even on Etsy and eBay, those sellers, they have pictures of mature Hoyas. That is not what you're gonna get, at least from Asian exports. At least that's the first place that I purchased an import from. And Asian exports, you're literally gonna get like 1 or 2 leaf cuttings. Even though it says a full plant, you're gonna get like a Hoya Callistrophia. I'm really bad at names, I just told y'all. It showed me one that was like vining and big, and this is something that you'll get. It is basically one node in a cluster full of leaves, and then it's rooted. Right now I am acclimating it, but yeah, this is something very similar to what you're gonna get. Or I even got this is a Hoya Potsy, and even though this is a pretty good size, but this is basically what you're gonna get. This leaf grown on its own. It started with just these two in a stem. So yeah, this is something that you're gonna get. And the pictures have, like I said, mature plants, and you are just gonna get maybe like 1 or 2 leaves on it with 1 node, and that's what you're gonna get. You're not gonna get a full plant. So don't order from places like that expecting a full plant, and you really never know what size you're gonna get until you get it. So the pictures that you see on their listings are a lot more similar to the plant that you're going to get. One of my favorites that I've ordered from a couple times now is called Thai Hoya, the one I mentioned before. They had a Hoya cyclicatus, and this is actually one that I got that's the second place that I ordered from, and this is the one that acclimated into my home. And when I first got it, it was a little bit fuller, and you can see some of the stems that have kind of died off as it's acclimated to my home. And that's to be expected whenever you transition a Hoya from one climate to another. But for the most part, it's acclimated really well, and it's a pretty big plant for this plant type. So this is a little bit more expensive when you purchase from the US, but from there, like I said, the pricing is going to be a little bit better. So the price of this Hoya, I got it on sale for $50, and then this came with a free certificate, and then the shipping was about $60. So here in the US, about like one cutting like this would be the same price basically, rather than getting a full plant. So as far as like pricing goes, there's gonna be it's gonna seem like a lot because of the shipping, but depending on the plant, it would still be a lot cheaper to purchase from Thailand or Indonesia than it would be for here in the US. Pricing is going to depend on the plant. At the Asian export, their prices are a lot cheaper than what you're going to find on Etsy and eBay, but that's because those are cuttings basically, so you're only getting a small piece of that plant. But like I said, from what I found on Etsy and eBay, you're going to get fuller plants, but they're just going to be a little bit more expensive. From what I've seen, they range from like 30 and up, honestly, and that just depends on, like, again, that's going to depend on the plant. I have purchased a lot more Hoyas, and I haven't purchased philodendrons, so if you're here wondering about the philodendron success, I cannot help you, because I just feel like I purchased based off what I feel is going to survive that commute, and philodendrons just aren't as hardy to me. And the one, actually I did purchase one, but that was from where was that from? I didn't even know I was purchasing from out of the country when I purchased it. I want to say it's from Puerto Rico. I'll have to look because I purchased it like last year, so I'll have to look, and I'll insert where I purchased it from. It was a silver sword philodendron. They come really weak, so they were very dry and very weak, and thankfully it acclimated really well. I just stuck it in some sphagnum moss and let it adjust, and the philodendron survived. And that's about what I'm hearing from other plant people, but I honestly couldn't help you when it comes to philodendron. So this is mainly like hardier plants, like Hoyas is what I get. So that brings me on to my next point. So you got your plant now, it's in the US, it's in your home. What you don't want to do is immediately open the package and repot it. As with any plant that you get, even if you do get it in the US, what you want to do is keep it separate from your plants that are already acclimated and have been in your home for a while. I typically bring the plants that are new to me in my sewing room because I have a few plants in here, but it's not in the main area where a lot of my plants are. So if something happens, you know, it's okay for these plants, you know, these are the plants I'm willing to sacrifice basically. So the first couple plants I did not give an acclimation period to, and these two are basically the only survivors. Again, this is still sitting in sphagnum because the roots were very damaged. They send it in wet sphagnum moss, and honestly I think it kind of causes a little bit of root rot. So what I did was I trimmed off the roots and I'm rerooting it now. And then this, I had it sitting in sphagnum moss for a while, and this rooted just a little bit faster. And now I just repotted it like last week into soil, and it's doing really well. I don't know if you can really see, but it's growing a new stem, which is very exciting. So how I acclimate my plants is I leave them in the pack. So they usually come wrapped up like this in sphagnum. So I usually leave it like that for a day or two and let it just adjust to my overall climate and to my home. And then after those 2 days are up, I will take it out of the package, and I will inspect the the roots, more than likely they're going to be damaged because they're sitting in like moist sphagnum. But I'll give it a good rinse. If it needs a hydrogen peroxide soap, I might do that just as a precaution, just in case there's any bugs that I'm missing. And then I'll place it in sphagnum in a little coffee cup or a glass cup like this. Let it adjust for about 2 weeks, and if I feel like the roots are doing well, then I'll repot it. But more than likely, I like to let mine just kind of sit there and chill out for like a month. The Hoya latofia that I got from Indonesia is still in sphagnum moss. It's been in my home for about a month and a half, and it's kind of just chilling. I haven't seen any new growth, but it's also not dying, so that's amazing. So honestly, you just want to let it acclimate for at least, I would say at least 2 weeks. But honestly, if you can give it more time, give it more time, because it's going to make a higher chance for your plants to survive. And with this, I let it sit in sphagnum moss for 2 weeks, and then I repotted it, and I repotted it with some of the sphagnum moss that it was acclimating with, so that way it could adjust better with the soil. But I mean, those are just my thoughts on it. I feel like and then I have a ton of new growth. A lot of the darker foliage that is on here are new growths of the darker leaves. I'm trying to get it to focus. Put it by my face. So yeah, this darker foliage in here. There's some new growth right here. So yeah, there's a ton of new growth on here. I lost some stems, but again, that's part of acclimation. Expect to lose a couple leaves or maybe even some stems. But it's all going to be worth it, because this would have cost me a lot more if I would have bought it here in the US. So like I said, the acclimation period is leave it in the packet, leave it in, if it comes wrapped up, leave it there for like a day or two. Let it breathe out of the container. Unless your leaves are like really damaged or really dry, then act as needed, honestly. But if they seem to be okay, I leave it like that. I rinse off the foliage so that if there is a bug problem, it helps eliminate it by me rinsing it. And then once those 2 days are up, you can put it in some fresh sphagnum or leca, whichever media that you use to propagate, because more than likely those roots are not going to be in the best shape. Let it sit in there for like at least 2 weeks. I like to do more, but you know, you can be the judge of that. If the roots seem fine, then put it in your preferred method, soil, leca, whatever you put yours in. I like soil, I like dirt, so I put it in here. It's just easier for me. I want to get into leca, but there's just a lot of chemistry going into that, and I just don't have the time, honestly. So yeah, if you have any more questions about the process about buying overseas, just let me know in the comments down below. I'm gonna share what I got from my most recent purchase. So with this, actually, I ordered a Hoya Sunrise, and it actually never came. So this is actually from, I reached out to the seller. I was like, hey, I never got my order. Or on eBay, if it doesn't come by the latest date that they gave you, then you can like start a dispute with the seller, and the seller has a chance to resolve it. So this was his way of resolving it. I got my Hoya Sunrise plus a couple apology gifts, so I was really excited about that. So let's look up when I ordered it. Okay, so I ordered the Sigley Goddess on April 15th. They had until June 25th to give it to me, and I have ordered from the seller before, and I had usually got my plants within 3 weeks. So I knew something was up when I didn't get it, and like almost immediately. So I started a dispute, and he got back to me immediately. He apologized and said as long as I pay for shipping, that he would send me out my Hoya Sunrise plus a little more apology gift. So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And then the shipping wasn't as much as it usually is. I think he gave me a discount on shipping. It was only $50. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll do that, because I want, you know, I obviously want my plant, and plus you're giving me more, so I'll do it. And so that was on June 25th is when he shipped it out. So okay, I had until June 23rd, and then he sent it out on June 25th. So he was fast acting. and then it was delivered yesterday. So July 2nd is July 3rd today, and I'll be uploading this soon. But so he shipped it, so I received it really fast, like within a week. So I was like, did he have somebody here already with it, or did he just get expedited shipped it? But that's just my mind thought, you know what I'm saying? But let's look into it. So like I said, usually like on some websites you are getting small ones, but sometimes they surprise you and actually send you a full plant, and this was one that really surprised me. So this was the plant that I originally purchased, which was the Hoya Sunrise, and look how big, look how much that is. Like I was probably expecting like maybe this right here, but all of this, like this is beautiful, and it's very big. And like I said, when you receive it, they might have some damage. Like there's some damages right here on this leaf, and just a couple more leaves. It looks like it may be some sun damage, and there are some sun stressed leaves in here, which we love sun stressed leaves. That's cool. But this damage is kind of what's worrying me a little bit. So I might post that in my plant group to see if that's something that I need to worry about. But I inspected it and I don't see any bugs, but you never know. I'm just asking just to make sure. But this is beautiful. So this is a Hoya Sunrise, and this is what I originally requested. And so let's see what else the seller sent. So this is the Hoya Sweet Scent, and that's actually the name of it. I was like, when he sent me, I was like, Hoya Sweet Scent, don't they all have sweet scents when they bloom? So I looked it up, and there's actually somebody who posted this in my plant group, and so that's actually the name. So I never knew that. So this is a Hoya I didn't know about. A Hoya Sweet Scent. It's really cute, and it has a stem with some new leaves coming through. Hopefully that sticks around, but sometimes when you are acclimating the new leaves fall off, but then they'll grow back, so that's okay. So this is a Hoya Sweet Scents. Plant number 2. Plant number 3 is the Hoya Elliptica. Now I've ordered this from this seller before because this is like this is high on my wish list. And it's really beautiful once it adjusts to your climate. They have I don't know if it's catching it on camera, but it kind of reminds me of like a turtleback. So maybe if I move it closer, you can see it a little bit. But the leaves get a little bit darker, and then the lines will stay like a light color, and it reminds me of a turtleback. But this yellowing leaf is a little bit worrying me a little bit, and the last time I bought from him, this didn't acclimate well, so I'm hoping that this will. So please, plant gods, let it acclimate well. But yeah, this is the Hoya Elliptica. So this is plant number 3. It's very pretty. Hopefully it lasts. Plant number 3. Oh, another Hoya Sigilligatus, and this is beautiful too. And like I said, this is quite a bit, and this plant is pretty expensive here in the US. Well, it's starting to get a little bit more common, so it's not as expensive when I first started looking for it, but it's still a lot, and this is a lot for only having to pay for the shipping. This is a lot. So I'm really excited about this. Once this acclimates, I'm going to add it to the pot that I showed you before so it can get fuller. But look how cute that is. So pretty. It looks like a mini pubic calyx with more splash. But yeah, I love the sun stress leaves. I'm trying to get it to pick it up. Yeah, so cute. So plant number 4, and this is the last one they sent, and this one, so big, it's so long. So this is a Deschettii, a watermelon plant, because it looks like a watermelon. And I have one, but it's obviously not this big. It's like this right here. But all this is so big and so pretty. And he has this, I think he still has some of these in his shop. So this was, I was just in shock when I got all of this, because I was not expecting any of that. Like I said, I just wanted my Hoya Sunrise, and then I got all this. So yeah, I got all these cool bonus plants, and I'm super in love with them. This is just so long and so pretty. I was like really excited for the one that I already have because it has a lot of new growth. But now I can add this to it, and just be even fuller. We love full plants. Honestly, I'm just really excited about the bonus plants I got and my Hoya Sunrise. So yeah, that has been my experience with ordering from overseas. You just want to make sure that you give yourself plenty of time. So if you're ordering for a friend or somebody, or if you're ordering for it to be here in a certain amount of time, give yourself at least a month before you get those plants. Plan ahead. And also, if you're worried about shipping costs, like I know that a lot of people tend to order with other people, so that way you can cut the shipping costs, at least when you order from like Asian Exports or something like that. So that way it cuts on shipping costs. I did that with my sister and that helped. So yeah, so we went over sellers, pricing, expectation versus reality. Like I said, when you order from Asian Experts, you're gonna get something like this, 1 to 2 cuttings. But when you order from like Etsy or eBay sellers, they tend to be more like this, so actual fuller plants, and they tend to be more realistic when it comes to their pictures. So yeah, if you guys have any more questions, please let me know in the comment down below. If you have any experience and I didn't mention something that should be said, then go ahead and leave that comment down below. We want to help each other out and share our experiences. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.